lot of people who are in or around the age of 40, they struggle to get out of their bed, they struggle to do everyday activities, they struggle to play with their kids or their grandkids, and they also struggle to exercise, which causes them to gain weight, or they have really bad lower back pain. So it just makes their day-to-day life really hard. So they end up spending thousands of dollars on chiropractors or physiotherapy or even osteopaths to fix their really stiff body, but it ultimately doesn't really lead to anything. It's like putting a band-aid on a bleeding wound. But if you don't want to end up like this as you get older, then you need to start doing these stretches that I'm going to be sharing with you in this given video. These are the exact stretches and mobility routines that I've given dozens of dads who are in their 40s, or some of them were over their 40s in their 50s and 60s, to loosen up their body and make them feel much more flexible and get rid of their back pain for good. Now they can finally go to the gym and finally work out and get into the best shape of their life. Move around easier, bend over easier, play with their kids easier, do everyday chores and activities easier without having to worry about breaking their back or really just like any other worry with this really simple 10 to 20 minute routine. So let's get into it. So child's pose, you're gonna start on all fours. You're gonna spread your knees a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, and then you can drop basically straight back. This is like beginner level, right? And then the second option would be go onto your forearm, open your legs a little bit wider, put your hands here or whatever is more comfortable, and push straight back. And then breathe. Now there's a lot of, I guess, more advanced progressions of child's pose. It's pretty basic. It's a very good beginner stretch, but once this gets easy, there's a lot more to do. So if you want to see more options, drop a comment below. Second one would be pigeon pose. Okay, so pigeon pose is going to be quite difficult for a lot of you watching this to do right away. Mainly because you sit all the time and you don't stretch a lot, and it's going to be very painful. So I'm going to show you pigeon, and then I'm going to show you what I would rather you do. So with pigeon, you're going to start on all fours, and then basically you're going to bring this leg and you're going to make it sideways, okay? And then that's it. You're just going to chill, right? So I'm not a huge fan of like static movement or stretching, so I'll typically do it and make it into more dynamic. So I'll go over my knee and move a bit. And by doing this, I'm flossing the nerve. I'm also opening up into a greater range of motion. I just feel it better in my glute, my IT band, etc. I'll show you from the other side. My preference on what I'd rather you do, elevated would be hard. I'd rather you start on an incline. Because by doing this on an incline, it's not as hard as a stretch, right? And then eventually you can progress to lower and lower and lower, right? That would be my recommendation. But some people, if you're watching this and you're doing this at home, if you don't have a bench or something adjustable, it's gonna be quite hard, right? Okay, next we're gonna go into cat-cow. So you're gonna go into tabletop position. Your hands are gonna be under your shoulders. You're gonna tuck your chin and bring your spine up, and then go the opposite direction. So now I'll show you from side view. Now we're gonna work some of your thoracic spine and your chest and your shoulders. So we're gonna do around the world and open books, because I typically do this at the same time just because it's two birds, one stone. I'll show you why. It's the same setup. So, all right, so you're gonna start on the side of your body. The hand is gonna be open. The other hand's gonna be on top. So the first part we're gonna start with is open books. So if it's too hard for you to do this, right, which it will be, you're just gonna start and just gradually do it. Just gradually, okay? But this is working your thoracic spine. The second part would be around the world. So it's the exact same setup, but you're gonna pin your ear to your shoulder and watch your hand. Put your eyeballs on your hand. Now, I don't know if the mic's picking it up, but my shoulder's clicking, and that's okay. All right, so now we're gonna go into like a lumbar rotation stretch. There's gonna be two parts to this. It's gonna both work like your hip flexors and improve your lower back pain. So very straightforward. You're gonna lie down, okay? You're gonna put your feet together, knees together, and open up your chest. And then you're just gonna go side to side. Let it drop if you can. If not, don't force it. Okay, and then part 2 to this, after you do this about 10-20 times, ankle's gonna go over knee, and you're gonna pull straight down. And you don't have to fall all the way back. That's just typically what I would recommend. So you could just do this and come back to center, right? But if you have the room, it's better. And do the other side. Okay. Now we're gonna go into WGS, which is the world's greatest stretch. I didn't name this, but fundamentally, the reason why it's called that is because it covers all your bases. It's just very difficult for beginners to do this, so I wouldn't really recommend it. This is more like an advanced. So you're gonna start in a lunge position or split stance or whatever you wanna call this, like 1 foot, 1 knee down, okay? Then you're gonna bring your foot up, okay? So I would say start lean forward, bring your torso forward. Then this leg's gonna come up, okay? One hand's here, other hand, you're gonna lift straight up to the sky. So what this does is it opens up your hip flexor and your thoracic spine at the same time, which is 2 of the most commonly tight areas in your body. But it's very difficult to work on the stability and the balance of this as well, even for me, right? So I would not necessarily recommend this, but you could try it. So up, foot, hand, and watch the hand go to the sky. And then we go back down. Okay, all right, so now we're gonna go into hamstring stretch. Now I have a different philosophy on hamstrings, and a lot of people do it, I wouldn't say incorrectly, they don't get as much benefit as they can. So a lot of people, they'll stretch their hamstrings like this, or like this, or like this. Now, none of those are fundamentally incorrect, but like you won't get as good of a stretch compared to what I'm about to show you. So those 3 options are there. So number 1, what I would recommend is you're gonna need a band. So you have the band, you're gonna throw the band around you, okay? And you're gonna put it on your foot, and you're gonna lie back. Okay, and then with your hand, you're gonna grab the band, so now you can kind of move it wherever you want. So just a side note, you could also work like your adductors, right? And your abductors, doing it that way, but for this video purpose, hold on. There we go. We're gonna work on the hamstring. So basically put your hands wherever you want, but then it gives you leverage, you can pull in, okay? So other leg's gonna be straight, hand's gonna be on the band, and then you can see, I could just hold it here, but if I really wanna make my life suck, I can hold it even greater, and then this whole area is lit up, right? But just, again, like you don't wanna force this, you don't wanna cause pain, just improve your range of motion, right? And then all you have to do is switch legs, it's quite simple, right? Other leg goes down, this can then just chill here. You wanna try to keep your legs straight. If your knee is bent, you're not gonna get as much hamstring activation as you would like. If you're shaking like I am, that's normal, right? That's your muscles kind of fighting against this, so you don't need to go to this deep of a stretch, right? So that would be the part 1 of hamstrings that I would recommend, but some of you might not have a band. The second option that I would recommend, which literally all of you have access to, would be a couch, a chair, any elevated surface, okay? Just remember, the higher the elevation, the harder it's gonna be. So I start with a couch. Now pretend this bench is a couch. All you're gonna do is put your foot on the bench, or the foot on the couch, whatever you wanna call it, and you're gonna push your hip back. That's it. You're just gonna push your hip back, right? And then you're gonna feel your whole hamstring light up. And then like you could grab your foot if you want, or you could just go into a deeper and deeper stretch, right? This is much more effective in my opinion than the other 3 options that I showed you, okay? In terms of how long to hold it and all that stuff, well, it's all within yourself. Like, don't kill yourself and don't overdo it. Like minimum 10 seconds, but like don't hold it for a minute. So now for the glute, in another video, well, went over the pigeon pose. That's one of the best ones, but another option you can do would be this one. So start lying your back, put your knee over, okay? And then all you're gonna do is you're gonna grab your knee and pull straight into the chest. So this is working your piriformis right here, right? If you wanna go the extra mile, what you could also do, you could do this exact same thing with the band, but it's a little more advanced, right? But for me, this is not really that great of a stretch anymore because this doesn't really give me enough, I guess, torque. Like, cause I can basically pull my knee to my chest at this point, right? Try to keep this open so you can do that. But yeah, this isn't that tight for me. And then I'm gonna switch. This side's gonna be worse. So I'm gonna pull my knee in, okay? And then if it has a tendency to flare out, you wanna keep it in a line. So you can do this, and then pull in. Okay, so that's for the piriformis. Now, the last two things we're gonna go over is two options for the quad. All right, I see some weird stretches for quads. It doesn't need to be super overcomplicated. Okay, so I'm gonna show you two options. I'm gonna show you one if you have equipment or technically an advanced movement. I'm gonna show you one that's really straightforward that anyone can do. Okay, so what you want to do when you're stretching your quads, you basically want to stretch your hip flexors because that's pretty much connected. Okay, so right here is your hip flexor, right? So if I'm going to stretch this quad out, the first thing I can do is just lean all the way back. So now I'm just stretching this whole area out, right? But for a lot of you, you're going to find that uncomfortable. So what I would then do is you're going to lean forward, you're going to lunge forward. So now again, stretching this hip flexor out, and just raise your hands to the sky because your body is all connected through your fascia. Right? And then you can go into deeper, you can kind of move, feel around with it, right? This is pretty straightforward, but you should feel a large stretch. I mean, the beginner version would be like you're holding here, but I don't feel as great of a stretch as what I just showed you. And then the other option would be you would go to a couch or something elevated. I don't even know if I'm in frame, but if I'm not, I'm sorry. I'm just a one guy crew. You're gonna elevate your ankle, you're gonna put on something, and then you can hold something for stability. You can push your butt into your ankle, and so that's gonna do great. And then you could also lean forward as well and then do the hand thing. But this is more advanced versus the one on the floor because you're elevated, right? Okay, so that pretty much sums it up. Before you go, I first wanna say thank you for watching it all the way to this video. It really does mean a lot. Now, you're probably gonna see sometime within the next couple seconds on the video to click a playlist on the same topic of lower back pain. I would highly encourage you to watch that because it's all correlated. So maybe this is the first out of a couple video series that I'm making on this given topic. It goes over some mistakes, it goes over some other stretching, it goes over some nutrition tips as well. And if you got any value out of this video, my only ask is that you simply drop a like, it's 100% free, and subscribe for more information because this is literally all my channel's about. It's not all dedicated to lower back pain, but it's all within the weight loss niche and improving your health and fitness journey. So until next time, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.